Well, for Panther City, it was win or go home in the franchise's first playoff game against the Calgary Roughnecks. Welcome, everyone, to the Cowtown Cats Lacrosse podcast. I'm Nicholas, joined by Andy.
Hello, hello.
Panther City came into this game looking to play upset, just as the Colorado Mammoth did only just the night before against San Diego in a kind of surprising but unsurprising to us game that was on a Friday night.
Yeah, we spoke about it before, but Colorado was obviously a better team than their record showed. Plus, they have a bit of that edge or swagger coming from last season winning the chip there. So it's hard to call them a proper fourth seed, and they showed exactly why in that upset win against San Diego.
Unfortunately, but we will talk about our final thoughts on this game. But of course, this brings us to our very special playoff edition, but also the last one of this season. Mr. Andrews, stats of the game. Mr. Andrew, for our playoff edition, what stats do you have for us?
Calgary did win the Lucy battle 35-23 going into the second half, and they ended up winning that 65-56 overall. Now, 9 isn't necessarily a huge disparity, but those little things do make a difference. They also went 15 of 25 on face-offs. Again, that might not necessarily make or break a game in the long run, but with this playoff intensity, every possession matters. The goalie battle was close as you would expect. Nick Damiut, he saved 38 of 49 shots, over 77%. Del Bianco saved 37 of 48 shots for 77% flat. Credit to the offenses for coming out with good game plans and learning how to combat them. But yeah, Damiut and Del Bianco both played excellent. Panther City did end up with a lot less turnovers than Calgary. So we had 18 turnovers, Calgary had 26. The quality of shots that they were getting did help out in the end. So Calgary was able to convert 3 of their 4 power plays. Panther City had 3 opportunities. They were only able to convert 1 of them. Going into this game, Panther City was converting at roughly about 50%, and Calgary was only converting at a little over a third of their opportunities. So for them to flip that script to where we weren't able to get much out of the power plays and they were able to capitalize on theirs, it was pretty much the story of the game.
Well, yeah, and it's honestly those type of things obviously swayed the game into Calgary's favor in the end. Well, of course, that is Mr. Andrews' playoff stats of the game. That brings us, of course, to our Cool Cat plays of the game. For me, there was a few, but there can only be one, and that's the Will Malcolm dunk. I mean, even though it didn't even count to start off with, his effort on that play was just, I don't know, kind of crazy good and what we needed in a playoff game. Will Malcolm, crazy dunk goal. That's my play of the game. What about for yourself?
I had a couple of honorable mentions. I thought Donville's almost like his waiter with a platter assist to Caputo in the first quarter was really nice. Hossig's goal at the end of the third to take the lead and put us up 9-8 was great. That would turn out to be our last goal of the season, so had a little extra specialness in that regard. But I gotta go with you. That Will Malcolm dunk, I know watching it, part of me thought, man, had this been a home game and had we seen that live, the place would have gone crazy. So yeah, I have to agree with you there. That Will Malcolm dunk from right behind was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, again, it was a very, very good highlight in what was just a crazy game for us. But that's, of course, our Cool Cat plays of the game, which brings us to our, again, a playoff edition of our Big Cat players of the game. I'll let you go first on this one. Who's your players of the game for our first ever playoff game for Panther City?
Okay, I gotta go offense and defense. On defense, I liked what Matt Hossick was able to do. He picked up 5 loosies, played solid defense, and was able to generate some offense as well. He had an assist, and he was able to score that, was it the game tying goal? No, it was the go-ahead goal to put us up 9-8, which, as I said, ended up being the final score of the season. So it seems like whenever we need a goal and things are tight, even though he's a defender, he's able to make plays that matter. Now, unfortunately, that was the end of the third quarter rather than the end of the fourth, but I really like to see that he's been able to do that. On top of that, I think I would go with Patrick Dodds. Doddsy had those 2 great goals off of those Callum Crawford assists on the left side and a couple of Lucy's as well. I think those really helped keep the momentum in our favor. If not for the rest of the game, then at least for substantial moments.
Yeah, and there. I think the good thing about the offense side of our play for this game, it just seemed very balanced. Like there was a lot of people involved and a lot of opportunities. So that's big for almost everybody, obviously, in the offense. For me, Big Cat player of the game. We said he needed to show up, and I think, for honestly, I wrote this down. The man left everything on the field that night, including his heart. But Damood, man, I mean, he had, not a perfect game, but he had the game that he needed to. Obviously up until that very end, but when they pulled him, but I think it was just a great experience for him, and I think it was a great game for him, especially knowing that that's the last game of this season, because now you can go into next season knowing that he can do this when the spotlight's on him.
Yeah, I really should have mentioned him as my goaltender of the game as well for Panther City. But yeah, he, like you said, he played great throughout, especially against such a good team as Calgary was, and going head-to-head with probably, along with Dylan Ward, arguably the best goalie in the league.
Well, and speaking of which, I mean, that's the next round matchup, Del Bianco versus Dylan Ward. That's going to be an interesting matchup to see. I mean, looking at this game, first ever playoff game for Panther City, what are your final thoughts about it?
First off, it was thanks to Panther City for putting on the watch party at the Aloft Fort Worth. It was really fun to be there in an environment with other fans. As far as the game itself, I loved the fight that we showed. It was a tough way to end the season, but I love that we gave ourselves a chance. And we didn't even have Coach TK with us. I know Brian McLean, one of the defenders, was out. Brooker Muir didn't play. So there were some, I don't know if they were healthy scratches or injuries, but for us to do what we did with our head coach not being available and some changes to the rotation was very admirable.
I mean, for me, it was amazing to watch because we kept it close. We left it out on the field pretty much, and showed up. That was the important part for me. I think it was a great game for them to grow from. I think it was a great game for them to learn from. But it was a great game just for the fans and for us to watch because it was their first playoff game. This is a team that in their second season as a franchise, they make the playoffs and put up a really good fight against, one of the toughest teams in the NLL right now. And it definitely helped Panther City look towards the future in a brighter way.
I'm glad that the guys are going to be able to get some rest. This has been a really, just personally speaking, a fun experience for me, kind of getting reacquainted with a game at a level that I wasn't even this acquainted with when I was actually playing field lacrosse.
Right.
So yeah. Thank you for inviting me to co-host this and really enjoyed watching and talking about lacrosse this season. It's been really fun.
Oh yeah, and I think that's going to make things even more exciting for next year when we take what we've learned from this season. We are going to have an end of the year awards for Panther City. The future is bright for us as well. We have lots of opportunities and lots of chances to do things, but unfortunately, Panther City season does come to an end. As we go into the off season, I feel like there's just a new hope, not only for us as fans of Panther City, but for Panther City themselves. Again, we want to thank everybody, all of you who do listen to our show. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, because this has been just kind of a fun experiment this year, but it's become something even more, and it's been great meeting every one of you. Be sure to catch us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Soon we're going to have some videos and everything up on YouTube, so keep an eye out for that. But thank you all for listening this entire year. Once again, for the final time in the regular season and the postseason, I'm Nicholas.
And I'm Andy.
And we'll see you next time, but we'll see you soon because we've got some stuff coming. So thank you guys again, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks and cheers, y'all.